Vamos a grabar. Okay, we're going to get the recording started because I do know there are a lot of people who are out with family. And that may happen for you guys next week too. I know these holiday things kind of oh, y aquí viene Dorothy. Bien. Bueno, a ver, I'm going to show you ahead of time. The only paper, if you printed it, you didn't have to, that you'll need to find or have ready. Pero bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Welcome y buenos días, muy buenos días. Feliz lunes de una semana de un día feriado. We've got a holiday week here. So aquí, bueno, voy a mostrarles. I'm going to show you the one page that you may want to have handy if you printed it off or if you saved it as a file. And I see a bunch of you are on when I'm showing you on screen. Make sure if you printed that you have it handy. You may need to look for it. If your office is anything like mine, yeah, it's like, I know I printed that. Where did I put it? Donde está? But we're going to take our baby steps before we get to this, okay? So you're going to have time to check that out or find the file if you need to pull up the file, lo que sea, whatever it may be. Es un día de practicar con demostrativos. It is a day to practice with demonstratives. And from there, we're going to use this as a stepping stone into another thing to finish off our fall session, which is very much a related topic. So, okay. Bueno, vamos a practicar con demonstratives. Demostrativos. Demostrativos is a fancy grammar word. Demonstratives is a fancy grammar word. All it means is this, that, these, those. That's all it means. Demonstratives are called that because they demonstrate where something is in the sense of space, where they are relative, where things are relative to the speaker, relative to the person I am talking to, relative to not close to either the speaker or the person you're talking to. That is what demonstrative means. So it's a fancy grammar term. But we just use it to show how close something is in space. And we're going to practice with that a lot. Vamos a practicar. We're going to take our little video I showed you at the end. You guys remember the, uy, I gotta find, tengo que, ay, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde está? Did you get, we're going to actually play this video at the end, even though I assigned it as homework. Recuerdan, remember this one? I have at the end. And we're going to play it so that I can fill in the spaces. You will notice this had no CC box, no closed caption box, because the purpose of that video is to get you to get the gist without knowing every single word. But we will look at that towards the end because she does use some demonstratives. So we'll show that at the end. She also used some other things grammar-wise that may have been a little bit of a puzzle. So I will provide the CC box at the end of class when we bring that up. Okay. Excelente. Tenemos aquí demostrativos. We've got here demonstratives. Y voy a mostrarles. I'm going to show you the big screen. See if you have any questions before we do one little extra bit of explanation, because there is one word in here that will be perhaps a little bit puzzling. Okay. This and these, that and those. This is singular, see? These is plural. This and these traditionally was always explained, it is close to the speaker, the person talking. Okay. That and those traditionally was explained as that, singular, those, plural, close to the person I'd be talking to, okay? That and those in Spanish is not necessarily really far from the speaker, but it's not right next to the speaker generally. And then Spanish gets a totally different category, which indicates distance distance from both the person talking and the person I'm talking to. And the category for that and those, which indicates greater distance, is that aquel and that aquel family and all of its forms. In English, we have to add extra words to that or those to indicate that idea. We have to say that over there or those over there. Okay, we've got those ideas. And then we're going to talk about these neutral words in a little bit. Okay, but we're going to start with these basics here. Okay, and again, these kind of relate to the idea we had in Spanish of, you know, here and there. It's just that these are talking about a thing. The demonstratives are talking about a thing. Okay, whereas the words here or there in Spanish don't necessarily talk about a thing. They do talk about distance. These also talk about distance, but they talk about distance pegged onto an item, an actual physical thing or an actual physical person. So this and these near the speaker, we've got este and esta. We have to have gender tagged onto these words, right? So este masculino, esta femenina, bien, estos plural, masculino plural, estas femenina plural. And notice with este, we don't end this in o. You know, you traditionally think masculine ending o, feminine ending a, but for the word this, este will not have an o at the end when it pegs onto a specific thing, a specific item. Okay. So, por ejemplo, entonces, por ejemplo, ¿sí? Este libro, we would never say esto libro. Esto libro would sound weird to a native Spanish speaker if you said that. Este libro, but if it's near somebody I'm talking to, it becomes ese libro, okay? And if it's away from both of us, it becomes aquel. So let's look at the that, those category column in the middle. Ese, masculine, sí, ese libro, esa, femenina, esos, masculino, plural, esas, femenina, plural. And so you notice with these words, este and ese, we've got an E at the end. And then when we go into the plural form, the O comes back. The O comes back. ¿Por qué? I cannot tell you why. No sé por qué. I don't know why, but that is the way it is. Okay, now we've got this third, like long distance category. Okay, aquel libro. It would have to be like, you don't even see basically where I've got it. It would have to be way off, okay? Aquel, aquella femenina, aquellos. And notice that OS comes back. We've got an O that comes back to the masculine plural, and aquellas. And the little rhyme, and literally when I had 15, 16-year-olds memorizing this, I would literally see their lips moving as they're filling out the quiz paper. Goes at I could lip read them all while they're doing their quiz on this, because this is how they remembered it. Little rhymes help kids, and sometimes us big kids too. This and these have got T's, so este, this, and these have got T's in them. This and these have got T's. That and those, no T goes, so the T goes away for the that and those. And an A for far away. This and these have got T's, that and those, no T goes, and an A for far away. And people know that aquel or aquella or aquellos, those words get the A designation. Okay, a ver. So we're going to come back to this generic thing in a little bit. We're going to come back to that in a bit. But, pero, Okay. When we're talking about actual physical items that we describe in distance with this and these, we have to pay attention that the word this and these becomes nothing more than an adjective, and adjectives have to agree with the noun they're talking about. So, you know, los libros importantes, los libros grandes, los libros pequeños, right? All those words are descriptive adjectives, but estos libros, estos is nothing more than an adjective. It's just showing you, instead of a size or some other information about these books, where they're located in space, okay? So, just like words like importantes, grandes, pesados, heavy, the words this, these, that, those are adjectives, and they'll have to agree with the noun they talk about. Este carro es nuevo. Move that. Este carro es nuevo. Ese es viejo. I want to show you what sometimes happens. Este carro es nuevo. This car is new. Ese es viejo. That one is old. Sometimes, once I know what I'm talking about, carro, on the second time around, that word carro may even disappear. Ooh. Sometimes the word this and that will stand in for the whole noun, and the noun can go away. That can happen. Para que sepan, so you know. That can happen. Este carro, I've got the noun paired up with the this word. Este carro es nuevo. This car is new. But I can also take this, that, these, those, and just let them stand in for the whole noun. Ese es viejo. That one is old. We put in the word one, that one. Well, we might say that is old. We might. But that one is old. Okay. Mira esas chicas lindas. Esas chicas, those girls, and lindas, pretty, is also talking about chicas, but esas chicas lindas, those pretty girls. Okay. Esos vinos son buenos. Those wines are good. Okay, we've got some examples with aquel, that family. Quiero ver aquellos cuadros. I want to see those pictures. If I am talking about those pictures, they're not near me and they're not near you or anybody sitting next to me. With that, I'm probably going to use aquellos cuadros, those pictures, because they're not, you know, they're off. They're farther off. A ver, okay. I want to see those pictures over there. So that's our little demonstration to show you what happens with that aquel family. They're further away. Okay. A ver, bueno. So we'll talk about those objects.
I have a question.
Sí, dime.
Talking about this, like, you know, based on the distance, right? So that, those, or that over there. So for example, like I wanted to say, if we are in a library, for example, and we're talking to the librarian, and I wanted the book that is like right on, like high on the top shelf. So do I have to use esos libros or aquellos libros?
If they're on a top shelf, if they're not near you, and if you're talking, the librarian is like right here, like, right? And they're not near the librarian either, it's going to be aquel, right? See, I want to show you something to talk about that, because that, like, how do I know? Well, there's no measuring stick that
Okay.
can give you a rule of thumb. It is a relative term. I do want to show you a little video on that. It is a relative thing. So in other words, what we want you to understand is that probably you don't need to get real bunched up over it. It will be something people will use as they interpret the distance. Juanita, yeah?
Okay.
And because some people do get confused about, well, if they both mean that and those, which one do I use? Before we do our little picture drill, I do want to show you this. And I will help with some of the things that they tell you that are maybe a little bit harder to understand. Okay. We got a guy talking on the phone to his friend here.
Time account at SpanishPod101.com.
Efra, ¿en dónde está mi disco de Kalimba?
Where's my CD?
Ese
Who use discs who use a disc these days?
disco es mi favorito.
Ese disco es mi favorito. That is my favorite. So relative to him, he thinks it's somewhere around, not right here, because he wouldn't be asking where is it if it's right here, right? Ese disco es mi favorito. That album, and now he's talking about an album. He's probably got it downloaded because he probably doesn't have an actual album. Ese disco es mi favorito. Siempre lo quise. I always wanted it. ¿Dónde lo pusiste? Where'd you put it?
Siempre lo quise. ¿Dónde lo pusiste?
Lo dejé sobre esa silla.
I left it on that chair.
¿Qué silla? Aquí solo hay dos y están vacías.
Yeah, there are only two here. They're empty.
Esa silla en tu azotea.
Quisiste decir aquella silla en tu azotea y no está.
Aquella. Okay. So now if they're talking about something that far away, obviously he's not on the roof. Okay? So that chair would have to be way off, right? Aquella silla. He's got some little patio set up on his rooftop.
Quisiste decir aquella silla en tu azotea y no está.
Entonces está en esa mesa.
Okay, then it must be on that table.
Solo hay una y tampoco está.
Esa mesa en tu comedor.
Aquella mesa en tu comedor, Efra.
Aquella mesa en tu comedor, right?
Mira, cuando algo está lejos, debes de usar
He's giving him a lesson. Efra, mira, look. Cuando algo está lejos, debes de usar aquella. He's saying, hey, you can't use esa if we're talking on the phone. It's way far off. Aquella. ¿Bien?
aquella, aquellos y aquellas. Y si estás cerca de la persona con la que hablas,
If it's close to the person you're talking to.
entonces dices ese, esa, esos y esa.
So that is the measurement. Yeah. Juanita, if you're talking to the librarian, it's not near the librarian either. It's going to be the aquel word in that family, right? Of aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas.
Ajá, sí. ¿Ya la encontraste o no?
No, la verdad. Espera, ya lo encontré.
I've already found it.
Hey there, friends of
Okay.
Spanish Pod 101.
So let's skip some of the chit chat. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so enjoy this video. Woo!
Okay, so they want to talk about this relative distance thing.
Okay, guys, so as we said before, ese and aquel are demonstrative adjectives. It helps us to point out things that are not close from us. Okay, so ese, it is similar to that in English or those in the plural version. Now, when are we going to use ese? You're going to use ese when the thing you're referring to is close to the listener but not necessarily close to the speaker. Okay, so it is not within reach from the speaker, but it is close to the listener. So that's where you're going to use ese.
Yeah.
So in ese we have 4 variants. We have ese, esa, esos, and esas. When are we going to use each one? Ese, you're going to use it for the masculine singular. Okay? Masculine singular. Esa is going to be used for feminine singular. Then we have esos, which is masculine plural, and then esas for feminine plural. Why don't we give some examples just to clarify this?
Yeah, let me give you the first example. Ese muñeco que está detrás de ti siempre me ha dado miedo.
Sí, buen ejemplo. ¿Qué muñeco? Okay, well, the next one. Esa. For example, playera. In Mexico, a playera, by the way, is a t-shirt.
A different word for t-shirt that is commonly used in Mexico is playera, playera. Playera comes from the word beach. You wear the shirt on the beach, playera. That's just a different word for t-shirt.
So, for example, I can say, esa playera está muy bonita.
Okay, so he's not wearing, if he says that t-shirt, he means the one on Ephraim, yeah, the one his friend is wearing. So if he's talking to his friend is wearing the shirt, it's esa playera. Bien? Okay, lógico? It's close to the person he's talking to because his friend is wearing it. Okay, vale.
Esa playera está muy bonita.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now with esos, those. Esos chicos siempre me han hecho reír.
También a mí son muy buenos.
And sometimes even with the digital word, it's, you're referring to whatever's on the phone. It's esos. Okay.
Okay, and finally with esas. For example, mira mis películas, Efra.
Oh, esas son muy buenas.
Sí, esas películas son mis favoritas, las de Halloween.
Okay, now we are going to talk about aquel. And aquel is used to talk about nouns that are far away from the listener and the speaker.
Very interesting. Okay, so contrary to ese, aquel, you're going to use it when the thing, the noun, is far from the speaker, but also from the listener. And in ese is just, it is close to the listener. So that's the difference between ese and aquel. And we have 4 variations. So the first one is aquel for masculine singular. Then we have aquella for feminine singular, aquellos for masculine plural, and then we have aquellas for feminine plural. Now, mind you, the things could be physical or could be figuratively things.
Okay.
We will give you an example.
Okay, the first one is figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
¿Recuerdas aquel día en que fuimos a Vallarta?
Oh, sometimes this word especially, aquel and its family of all the variations, is often used to talk about a noun that isn't really a physical thing, but something that is kind of abstract. To talk about time, that day, that time, that year. So something far away, not in space, but in time. Ooh, so aquel can be used to talk about distance way back in the past, in time, as well as in space. So keep that in mind because that can be handy.
Por supuesto. Aquellos momentos son inolvidables.
Yeah, those moments, those times are really unforgettable because it happened a long time ago. So that aquel family is also used quite often to talk about time past long since passed, long time ago.
Okay, so guys, in this case, aquel, we're going to use it because dia is masculine. Okay, and it is far from us because it happened a long time ago. Okay, so a long time ago, it was like 2 or 3 weeks, right? No, I don't know, it was a long time ago. Okay, and momentos, once again, is figuratively because you cannot touch, you cannot like grab the moment or a day. So it's figuratively a noun. So, but it's also far, those moments, or the moments over there.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Now let's continue with aquella and aquellas. One example.
Oye, y hablando de Vallarta, ¿te acuerdas de aquella vez que conocimos a las francesas?
Aquella vez, that time. Vez, time, like an iteration of time, an instance of time. Aquella vez, vez is a feminine word. So you might not know that, but vez is a feminine word. So it's aquella vez, that time. And they're remembering back in the past. Remember that we met those French girls.
Oui, oui. Por supuesto que me acuerdo ese día que las conocimos. Aunque, bueno, todo pasó muy rápido. Oye, pero sabes, me empieza a dar un poco de hambre.
Oh, ¿por qué no tomas una de aquellas manzanas que están sobre la nevera?
Oh, sí, muy buena idea.
Vamos.
Claro. That's it for today, my beautiful
Okay, so that just shows you distance. Basically, guys, if it's out of reach, it's that in that aquel family of words, if it's out of reach. And that is a relative thing. You know, it's relative to the person who is thinking about it, talking about it. So, okay, let's maybe make this a little bit más concreto. Let's make this a little more concrete. We're going to bring up some easier pictures to maybe make it a little easier to talk about things. We won't talk about time yet. Okay. I've got a little, well, he's not a stick guy here, pero pueden ver, you can see this guy, right? See?
Yes.
Okay. El hombre. Tenemos un hombre en el centro de la foto. Tenemos un hombre. Hay un hombre en el centro de la foto. Okay. And you know, this is kind of relative, so I know. If we are talking about un regalo, a gift, and this guy's talking about this gift, regalo. ¿Cómo se dice this gift? Regalo.
Este regalo.
Este regalo. Este regalo es una cosa masculina. Este regalo. Bien, perfecto. Perfecto, muy bien. Flores. Las flores.
Estas flores.
Yeah, these are really kind of close. Estas flores. Estas flores. Este regalo. Estas flores. Okay. And I know it's always kind of a relative thing. Okay. A ver. Let's talk about camisetas, some t-shirts.
Estas
camisetas.
Camisetas, they're still pretty close to him. Estas camisetas. Okay, camisetas, sí. Bien. But now let's say he wants to talk about the black one that's closest. It would become, it's all relative. Esta. And if you, la blanca, the white one would become maybe
Esa
camiseta. And maybe that farthest black one on the end would become
aquella.
Yeah. If you're talking about something in a series lined up, now it's a relative thing, isn't it? Right? Esta, esa, aquella. And if he's looking at them all lined up, right? He probably won't have to repeat camiseta. Esta, this one, esa, that one, aquella, that one over there. So it is all relative, but if he's got them all lined up, aquella is going to be the one that's farthest out. ¿Lógico o no? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Sí, bien, okay. Vale, magnífico. Let's talk about fruta. Fruta. We're going to take the singular for this because it indicates a group item, right? Fruta. It's not really
Esa fruta.
Esta
Esa fruta.
fruta.
esa fruta, esa fruta, esa fruta, esa fruta. Sí. How about el celular?
Ese celular.
Ese celular, ese celular, it's not super far away. Let's say, and it's hard for me to get these exactly in place, but you know, these trees, los árboles, los árboles.
Aquellos árboles.
Yeah, they might be
Aquellos.
aquellos, it might be esos, it depende. Yeah, that kind of depends on how he's interpreting it. So you can see, is there a definite, where does esos begin or leave off and aquellos commence? Well, it really depends on the point of view of the speaker. So, you know, could I mark that as wrong, whether you use esos árboles or aquellos árboles? It kind of depends on how close they are to this little guy. Okay, let's look at edificios, buildings.
Esos edificios.
They're pretty far out though.
Aquellos.
Aquellos edificios. You know, you got the little ones, the tall, they're off there. Aquellos edificios. Okay. Let's talk about parque, el parque.
Ese
parque.
Ese parque might be aquel parque. Maybe, you know, ese parque, it looks like he can kind of see it from where he is. Nubes. Clouds.
Aquellas nubes.
Las nubes. Las nubes.
Aquellas
Aquellas nubes. Nubes, clouds are not near me or you. There. Out there, aren't they? See?
Yeah.
Están allá. Están allá. You know, guys, if they're in the land
Yeah.
of allá,
Ahí, allá.
yeah, allá, they are
Ahí.
aquellas nubes, las nubes, aquellas nubes. Okay, magnífico. Pueden ver. So you can see, you know, relative to the person talking, you know, where does ese leave off and aquel take up? It really depends on that perception of the speaker. Depende mucho. It depends a lot on that. So it is kind of a relative thing, but things that are way off like clouds will definitely be, you know, referred to as.
Actually, I have another question, if you don't mind.
So sí, claro.
This one that I'm looking at the video and talking about the nuts specific gender, which is esto, and aquello. So I'm still kind of confused about how you use that, because this one is like the not specific gender. So if this one can be used when you're not certain about the gender, and then you can just,
Yes.
like, you know, try to be safe and you just use esto, aquello.
Oh,
Is
that's
that
a
the
good
one?
word that you use, that idea of safe. I like that. Me gusta mucho. I like that a lot. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Now let's come back to the idea of when something isn't either masculine or feminine. And you're talking about the Aussie that made that, that video. Okay, so there are two important points about the video that our Aussie friend made, this guy made. there are two important points. One important point was we have a neuter or neutral word, esto and eso, and there is even an aquello, but I would say totally ignore the word aquello. You at your level, and I don't mean that as a put down, aquello is a very abstract word. You on occasion hear it, but you on occasion more likely read it. When I read difficult books, I may run into the word aquello. The books you guys would read or magazine articles would not be using the word aquello. It is a very abstract. So, but eso and esto, yes, you may hear those. So his one point is we've got these neuter words. And the other point is, do you need to obsess over gender? Do you need to obsess
Yeah.
over that? When is it an NBD, a not big deal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus, wait, this is a big deal.
So it's-
Okay, and his point kind of is, if I am talking about la taza, it is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If I say este taza,
No. Oh,
that's, yeah, that's gonna sound weird to
Yes.
somebody you're talking to,
Mhm.
okay? Esta taza is what they're expecting here. So you saying este taza is gonna sound weird, but if you just say esto, this, because maybe you don't know what kind of liquid is in there, that's kind of a no big deal. Everybody interprets esto as this thing. So esto, they'll know what you're talking about. That won't really confuse people, but to say este taza, match up a masculine with a feminine thing, that's going to sound really off to them. All right. So that is a point that he had. Let's go back and look at this idea of neuter words. Oh, good heavens. Why does Spanish doesn't have very many neuter, you know, you can count on this hand, I think, how many neutral terms there are. But they do come up once in a while. Esto and eso are not masculine, even though they end in an O. They are kind of generic. You can think of them as generic when you don't know what an item is. So let's say you're in a marketplace situation. You know, you're at like a fresh food stand and you don't know, they've got some exotic fruit. You know, if you went to Colombia and they've got papayas and all kinds of fruits, they've even got fruits that have special names. People in Colombia eat those fruits. People who are visiting from Argentina might not even know what those fruits are called. They're native to, you know, they're grown in Colombia. They don't sell them down in Argentina. When people don't know what the name for that thing is, they'll feel free to use the word esto, this thingy, this thing, yeah, esto. This thingy, this thing that I don't know the name for it, yeah. This thing that I want to buy. It can even be talking about something abstract, this thing that happened, and it can be talking about an event. It can. Eso similarly can mean that thing, okay? And I don't really know the word for that thing, so I just use eso in a very generic way. Or that thing that happened. It can even eso be referring to an event. It might. So if somebody is talking about an idea, and an idea doesn't have a gender or a topic, They're talking about a topic, something abstract. They're not talking about shoes that are an actual thing. Yeah. But they're talking about, you want to talk about this topic of demonstratives, and you want to say, no entiendo esto. I don't understand this. No comprendo esto. This means the idea, the concept, an abstract thing. So we can use esto to say this thing, meaning an abstract thing. Or if I don't know the name, if I don't know the noun that is used to talk about, you know, an item, I can use that word. People use eso in this idea a lot. Eso es difícil de explicar. Well, that's hard to explain. That, talking about an abstract idea. People use this phrase a lot. Eso es. That's it. That's right. That's the way it is.
So
Eso es. If somebody looks at you, eso es, well, that's just the way it is. And they're talking about the situation you're in. So esto and eso are often used to talk about an abstract thing that is not concrete. Don't have your hands on it. Does that make some sense? Sí or no?
sí.
Yeah, see, but the thing is like what I'm still confused is like if you're not sure about the gender, for example, like, you know, oh, pluma, I don't know if it's pluma, you know, if I'm not sure if it's pluma, it's a feminine or masculine, can I use esto just to be safe?
You can.
Okay.
And
Okay.
somebody will know what you mean.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gracias.
So, in other words, you want to know, you can see this screen, right? That plug, this thing here, this plug. You don't know how to say charger. Oh, shoot. You're traveling. You forgot to pack it. You got to go in a store, right? ¿Qué es esto? What is this? It's okay to use, right? Or how much does it cost? ¿Cuánto cuesta esto? How much does this cost? Perfectly okay. It's an NBD. It's a not big deal. No big deal. Somebody will know. You want to talk about this thing. It's a charger. You don't know the word for charger. You don't know what gender it is. You just know, I need this thing. Quiero esto. Quiero esto. I want this. Quiero esto. I want this thing. Quiero esto. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Cuánto cuesta esto? How much does this cost? You can sub that neutral word in as kind of a cheat thing. That's okay. Or you're surprised about something that happened. Wow, you look at this mangled up car. Esto es horrible. Wow, this is a big mess. This is awful. Yeah. If you're talking about an event, this crash that happened, we can't really assign, well, we could say accidente, we could, el accidente, este accidente, this accident. But you look at this mangled up piece of car that you see sitting on the curb and you say, uy, esto es horrible, this is awful. Because you're talking about the whole situation, see? So esto and eso are kind of nice cheat words. Because when I want to just refer to an event, a thing that I don't quite know, I can use them as cheat words. Okay? But what I cannot refer to as a cheat thing, you know, zapatos, you probably know, right?
Mm.
So for you to say estas zapatos is a big deal and a big BBD, big bad deal. Estos zapatos. Ah, quiero estos zapatos. Quiero estos zapatos. ¿Sí? Quiero estos.
¿Cuánto que esto
No
es?
quiero esos. No quiero esos.
No,
Esos negros, those black ones, esos negros, no los quiero. Estos. Sí,
Not
quiero
them.
estos. I want these. And notice estos, I can use, and I can throw away the word zapatos if I'm physically showing somebody. Estos, these. And I might not even use the word zapatos. I can use the whole word estos to talk about, yeah, these ones that are near me. ¿Entienden? Understand?
Sí.
I can pair them up with the thing. I can just say estos, these. I can say estos. And people know I'm talking about libros. So sometimes these little demonstratives may stand alone. They may be used and they stand in for the whole noun without mentioning the noun. Once you have some context and you know what you're
Pregunta.
talking about. Sí, Mariana.
Does it also apply the neutral and the generic to the plural? So estos, is that?
Quizás maybe, but usually not so much. Usually
Not-
it's just, yeah.
Something close.
Estos is a masculine plural.
Right.
Esos is a masculine plural, right?
Yes.
So,
Like if I wanted to say something, those things over there. Or,
well, yeah, yes.
but I
if they're
don't know if it's
obvious-
masculine. I
Yeah,
don't know if
but
it's
you know what?
masculine.
If they are obviously plural, yes, then estos, yes, definitely make them plural. Sí.
Okay.
Bien? Okay? Sí?
Yep, see.
Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question about that before we move on? Sí o no? No?
No.
Okay. Vale, magnífico. Okay, so I hope we've cleared up that neuter or neutral thing, and I'll send you this whole, I think I sent you this file before, but I'll send it to you again in the email for this week. So, you know, sometimes this and these are a big deal. Oh, I need to get my screen in reverse. Let's take a look at our page, nuestra página de práctica.
Práctica.
Okay. Con la tabla, the one with the grid. Let's go on to that. Vamos a ver. Okay. So you had a nice big chart and we put them in their little categories up here on top. But now let's see if we can sub things in, okay? No compré vino la última semana. I did not buy wine last week, but this time, and ves is a feminine thing, pero
Esta
esta
Pero
vez.
esta vez.
Esta vez, and you just need to know that word ves is plural. A lot of these, well, no, you can't really say with C, because lápiz is masculine. Esta vez, this time. Esta vez, sí compro.
Compro vino.
Esto.
Yeah, it might be it might be esto, this thing. It might be, if we're talking about vino,
Vino.
Este.
este vino. What about if I use, botella? Bottle, instead of wine, bottle.
Esta.
La botella.
Esta. Compro esta botella. I'm buying this bottle. Sí, compro esta botella. See? Okay. So you can see, es flexible, right? I can be using este vino, masculine, esta botella, this bottle. Depende, depends on the noun you're using. The noun will govern. No quiero estos zapatos. I don't want these shoes.
Eso.
Prefiero, I prefer
Eso.
those.
Esos.
Esos.
Esos. Esos.
Ujú.
Prefiero esos. I prefer those. And notice, I can even skip the word zapatos. That's redundant.
Mhm.
I already know I mean zapatos, right? I can throw out the word zapatos and prefiero esos. I prefer those. Okay. Flagstaff está a 106 millas, está a 106 millas al norte. Oh, no, I have my I wasn't reading far enough ahead. Está 160 millas al norte de Phoenix y está a 20, okay? Y Phoenix está a 20, and Phoenix is only 20. That city,
Esa.
and I'm talking about Flagstaff. If I'm
Aquella.
talking about Flagstaff,
Okay, well,
Yeah.
aquella ciudad.
Aquella.
Aquella ciudad es femenina. Dad. All these dad nouns that end in dad are always 100% feminine. No exceptions to that. Aquella ciudad. Aquella ciudad. That city. Tiene un clima fresca, has a cool climate, okay?
Mhm.
El Parque Chaparral no está lejos del centro, is not far from downtown. Centro here means center of town or downtown.
Could
Aquella.
you explain what the ESTA 20 means? I couldn't figure that out. The ESTA 20.
Oh, is 20 miles away.
Oh,
That, yeah,
okay.
está a 20 millas. Está a 20, it's 20 miles. I omitted my millas.
Okay.
Okay, bien,
thank
okay.
you.
El Parque Chaparral no está lejos del centro. It's not far from the downtown. So if I say that park, and if
Eso.
it's not far,
Eso.
ese,
Ese.
ese,
ese.
ese tiene muchos pájaros acuáticos. It has lots of aquatic birds. Ese tiene. That one has. Ese tiene. I might choose to use the word parque. Ese parque. Ese parque. Okay. If I say no está lejos, it's not far. That's my cue that I don't want the A for far away category. Okay. Okay. And this is always hard to do on paper. When you see somebody and you're with them, you can see the physical distances. So it makes it easier. Mi abuelo tiene 85 años. Grandpa's 85. En 1965 tenía un Mustang. He had a Mustang. In those days,
Aquellos.
Aquellos días.
aquellos días. Boy, you do not want to use esos días probably, because 65 is, yeah. En aquellos días era un carro muy popular. En aquellos días, we can use, this is showing you we can use aquellos días, those days, because it's in 1965. It's way back time machine. So aquellos días means long ago, okay? Aquellos días. En 1985 usábamos teléfonos. We used phones, a physical plug-in phone. Pero these days,
Estos días.
estos días, todos usan celulares. Everybody uses cell phones. Bien? Okay? ¿Entienden? Understand?
Sí.
So do know that that idea of aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas can be used to go into the way back in time machine. It can be used that way to talk about long far ago in the past, as well as concrete things. Okay. A ver, ¿alguna pregunta? Any other question before I move on to a little thing? We'll quiz you guys. ¿Sí o no?
So how do you say it? Like back in 1965. So you say aquellos míos.
Aquellos días, aquel año, that year,
Okay.
aquel año. Ok, por ejemplo, en 1965, 1965, aquel año, that year. But maybe if I'm talking about in comparison, because remember, it's all relative. If I'm talking about 2018, 2018,
Mhm.
ese año, 2018 is not as long ago as 1965. I might say ese año. It really is all
Okay.
relative to the context of what you're talking about. Yeah, see?
Sí,
Okay,
gracias.
so people may flip between ese año and aquel año depending on how far back they're referring to.
Mhm.
Okay,
Sí.
it can be in a certain way a little bit subjective, un poquito, just a little bit. But once you get to way back, it becomes less less subjective. Okay, let's see if we can figure it out. We got a drop down menu, so we're going to do easier ones first. Pueden ver, can you
Está.
see? Un poquito más grande. Pluma.
Esta.
Esta pluma. Now these are going to be big deal. You need to match these up right. Okay, this can't be NBD. These are like where they're nouns. You should know what they are. This book,
Este.
Este.
este libro, este libro. It would not sound right to say esto libro. Esto libro wouldn't sound right. We don't match up esto with a noun. Esto means this thing or this time. Okay. These girls.
Estas muchachas.
Estas muchachas, these girls. These apartments.
Estos.
Estos apartamentos. Perfecto. Okay. Those women.
Esas mujeres.
Esas mujeres.
Esas mujeres. Okay. Those, that and those, no T goes. So we're looking at no T here. That car.
Ese.
Edificios.
Oh, sorry.
Ese auto.
Ese auto.
Ese auto. Ese carro. Ese automóvil. Or ese coche, right? There are different words for car depending on where you live. They may use regionally different words. Those buildings.
Esos.
Esos edificios.
Edificios.
That bed.
Esa
Esa.
cama.
Esa cama. For these, it is a big deal to match up the right gender designation with the noun. These nouns have specific gender and that singular or plural state. So it is a big deal. You do not use esto or eso when you pair it up with these nouns. That becomes a big deal. Okay, you got to have the right gender. Okay, vamos a ver. Un poquito, a little bit harder, but no es tan difícil. Those houses over there.
Esas
Aquellas casas.
Aquellas casas over there. The idea of over there has to become the A for far away.
Mhm.
That lady over there.
Aquella señora.
aquella.
Aquella señora.
Aquella
That tree over there.
Aquel.
El árbol.
Aquel. Árbol does not have a spelling clue to tell you it's masculine, although most nouns that end in an L wind up being masculine.
Aquellos.
El árbol, therefore, aquel árbol. Those buildings over there,
Aquellos edificios.
aquellos,
Edificios.
aquellos edificios. Bien, okay. And notice sometimes this, that, these, those, the whole word may stand in for the noun. Okay, this book is mine, but that one over there, and I don't repeat the word book,
Aquel.
is
Aquel.
hers. Ese
Aquel.
libro es mío, pero
Ese.
Aquel.
Aquel.
aquel es suyo. Bien.
Yeah.
These magazines, revistas, are mine. Esas revistas son mías, but those
Pero-
over there are his.
Aquellas.
Pero
Ellas.
Yeah,
Aquella.
aquellas.
aquellas son
Son
suyas.
suyas.
Okay.
Aquellas.
This car is mine. Este coche es mío, pero, but that one is his.
Este.
Ese.
Este.
Essay.
Ese. Yeah, that and those no tigos. So that one is ese. Ese es suyo. And notice, ese stands in for coche. Este coche es mío, pero ese es suyo. I don't need to repeat the word coche. Ese stands in for the whole shebang, the whole noun. This table is mine. Esta mesa es mía, pero that one,
Este.
Essa.
Este.
ese es suya. That one is hers. This magazine is mine, but that one is hers.
Esta.
Este.
Essa.
Esta revista es mía,
Ah.
pero esa es suya. This book is mine.
Wait a second.
Wait.
Este.
Este.
Este libro es mío. Bien. Oh, this is absurd.
Esto. Esto es absurdo.
Es absurdo. ¿Por qué? Why?
Because it's abstract.
It's
It's
gender neutral.
abstract. My example, I got charged $144 for buying one package of mushrooms at the grocery store because they didn't have the barcode in there correct. Esto es absurdo.
Mm.
This is out there, man. Esto es absurdo. Yes, I was refunded. True story. Okay. That bothers me.
Eso.
Eso me
Eso.
molesta.
Eso me molesta. That bothers me. Something happened. And that bothers me. Yeah. Me molesta has nothing to do with molestation. Me molesta means it is bothersome. It is annoying to me. Eso me molesta. That bothers me, right? Bunch of kids are screaming at the top of their lungs, and you might say, eso me molesta mucho. That bothers me a lot. So these last two, you get that idea of, oh, totally abstract. And I will send you this so that you can re-quiz yourself later on. Bien, ¿sí? Exacto. Vale, bueno. Let's take it one step further. Un poquito más grande. 40. Wow, we got 40. Hay 40. Voy a comprar. I'm going to buy this one en vez de la dorada. Oh, and this is a little bit, well, it's not that tricky. No.
Eso.
But they don't really tell us the thing they're talking about. La dorada means the gold one. Okay, you don't know that word, but voy a comprar this one.
Eso.
Esta.
Esta. This and
Oh,
these have
esta.
got T's.
Right. Eso.
Yeah. So even though we don't know, wow, they don't even name the noun, this one can't be esa because esa means that one, right? Aquella means that one over there. Okay. This one is la más bonita, is the prettiest. Take that down just a bit.
Esta.
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 Esta es la más bonita. This is la más bonita. Tells you it's a feminine thing, right? Okay. Those are orange. Son anaranjadas.
Esos, ¿no? Aquí, esos.
Wow. Ooh, do we
Yeah.
really know?
Los,
Esas.
Well, we don't really know. There really is nothing in there that tell us if it should be aquellas. So that's a little tricky. All right. That's relative. We don't have we don't have a visual
Aquellas.
context for that one,
Aquellas.
do we? Right? Those over there.
aquellas.
Yes.
Aquellas. Notice if we're talking about estrellas, stars,
Stars.
they're not close. Are they? Oh, unless you're talking about physical stuff. You know, if you decorate little stars in your kid's bedroom, it might be esas estrellas. Yeah, there's an example. Mom hangs little stars in the little kid's room. Esas estrellas. It might be esas estrellas because they're in the room. But if I'm talking about actual stars, aquellas, bien, okay? All right. This one is better. Es mejor, is better. Es mejor que su equipo. This one is better than your team. Equipo. This team. And they didn't even say the word team. Es mejor que su equipo. Is better than your team. This one. This one is better than that one. Aquel. Este es mejor que aquel. Okay. Otro ejemplo. Oh, no. Sí, bien. Esta es una chaqueta. Es una chaqueta, ¿verdad? Chaqueta, una chaqueta.
Esta
chaqueta es mejor que esa. Better than that. Okay, vale. Pueden ver, you can see. Okay, that one over there es mi carro. That one over there is my car.
Aquel.
Aquel. If you've got a point like
Over
that,
there.
aquel is the right one. If it's out of reach,
Over
think
there.
about if it's out of reach, it's in that aquel family. Okay. Bien. Tengo uno. I have one. Tengo uno. I have one. This one is for you. Este es para ti. This one. See? Mi camisa es de algodón. My shirt is cotton.
Esa.
Esa.
Esa
Esa.
es de seda made out of silk, de algodón made out of cotton. We say cotton shirt, silk shirt. When you mention the material it is made out of, it has to become de algodón because algodón is a thing.
Algodón.
De algodón, cotton, de seda, silk. Okay. Camiseta. Esa es de seda. Oh, esa, we're talking about camisa. That one over there es más barato, is cheaper. Aquel es más barato. That one over there is cheaper que este, than this one. Those over there are the darkest.
Aquellas.
Aquellas que las piedras are stones, rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, stones are rocks. Okay. This one is fantastic.
Está fantástico.
Esta es fantástica. We only know because feminine. Esta es fantástica. This cup is fantastic. Okay. Bien. That over there is mine.
Aquel.
Aquel. And we don't really know the thing they're referring to, but there it is. Okay. That one is Greek. Griega means Greek.
Esa.
Esa, sí. That one is Greek. That over there is the Eiffel Tower.
Aquella.
Aquella es la Torre Eiffel. Es la Torre Eiffel. Bien. This one is mine.
Esta.
Es mía.
Esta
Esta
es
es
mía.
mía. Sí. Now let's take this one little step further. let's say, Juanita, you're in, let's say you're in a store. You're in a store. Uy, ¿dónde? Estás en una tienda, you're in a store, you need to buy this you need to buy this thing. It's a tablet of some kind. And I want to say this one is mine. Would it be okay to say esto es mío?
Sí,
Sí.
sí.
Yeah. You don't really know what gender it is, but you want to use that as a cheat. Can you do that? Sure you can. Okay, bien. And somebody will know what you mean. Somebody will understand what you mean. Okay. Those are
But
better
if you
than,
grab a guy and then you say esto es mío. No, I'm just kidding.
right, yeah, yeah, you grab something. Esto es mío, this is mine. Sure you can, see, okay. Those are better than those over there. Oh,
Estos.
esos, esos, bien.
Oh,
We're gonna do just a couple more and then I'm gonna leave the rest for you to do to like check yourselves. This one is
Esta.
deliciosa.
Esta es deliciosa.
Esta es deliciosa. Bien. Le traigo, I'm bringing him.
Esa.
Le traigo
Esa.
Esta.
esa.
Esa.
En vez de just means instead of, En vez de, it means instead of this one.
Oh.
That one, yeah. En vez de means instead of. Quiero leer un libro. I want to read a book. Dame, give me.
Ese.
Esa.
Ese.
Ese.
Yeah, ese. Could it be aquel? Maybe. It depends. It depends on the distance, okay? And I'll give you this to play with. Sí, para más tarde. There are 20 more to kind of fudge around with. ¿Está bien? Okay? ¿Alguna pregunta? Any kind of question on that? ¿Sí o no?
No.
Why was the Eiffel Tower feminine? What?
La torre.
Torre, just.
Torre just happens to be a feminine word. It just.
Torre. Oh, okay.
It's feminine in French too, probably came just like that.
Quizás,
La
maybe.
torre.
Es posible. Okay. Yeah, probably something from way back in Latin. Me imagino, I imagine it's a Latin thing. Okay, bien. Let's take a look at this video you had and let's break it down to listen for some of these items. ¿Dónde está? Momentito. Let's break it down further and see how much of the story you got the gist of. So since you did not have, a closed caption box for this video, and it was designed that way for you to get the gist of the story without needing subtitles, but you're going to hear some demonstratives buried in here, which is why you got this video. And we'll let it roll, but we're going to stop it every now and then to see if you got the general idea. Okay. And you'll notice with this kind of storytelling, they do a lot of drawing to get you to the main ideas when you don't know the vocabulary in particular.
Rosa tiene un problema.
Rosa tiene un problema.
Rosa has a problem.
She has a problem.
Su vestido le queda pequeño.
Su vestido le queda pequeño. Le queda means fits her.
Her dress fits her too small.
Fits her too small. And there are a couple ways to express that in Spanish. Le queda pequeño. And wait a minute, pequeño is a masculine word. Why am I using masculine if it's rosa? Because vestido, dress, is a masculine thing. Masculino. Le queda pequeño. It fits her small. And the pequeño is not talking about rosa. Pequeño is talking about vestido, dress, which is a masculine thing. Yeah? Okay.
¿Cómo lo va a solucionar?
¿Cómo lo va a solucionar? How's she going to solve that? How is she going to fix it?
Hola, esta es la historia de Rosa.
Esta es la historia.
This
This-
history.
This is a story about
And
Story.
we know historia can mean history, but in this case, it's being used as story.
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 Historia can mean history, it can mean a story. In this case, esta es la historia. This is the story. Esta es la historia de Rosa. This is a story of Rose.
Rosa tiene un vestido para el verano.
Para el verano, for summer.
Ella compró el vestido en una tienda el verano pasado, el
She bought it
Last summer.
Year.
last summer.
año pasado. Y este año
Este año,
This year.
this year, magnífico,
Rosa se prueba el vestido
se prueba, she
Tries.
puts on, se prueba, she puts it on, she
Prueba.
tries it on,
y se mira en el espejo.
se mira,
She looks in the mirror.
she looks at herself in the mirror, en el espejo,
Rosa se mira en el espejo.
en el
El
espejo.
vestido le queda pequeño.
Le queda pequeño, le queda pequeño, and pequeño is talking about vestido.
Le queda muy pequeño. Le queda muy apretado.
Here's the other word for tight, apretado.
Apretado.
Apretado, tight. Pequeño, small. Okay. Apretado has more of that feeling of tight, right?
Rosa no está nada contenta.
No está nada contenta. She's not at
Not
all.
happy.
She's nothing happy. She's nothing happy. Nada es nothing. Es nada contenta. Not happy at all. We would say not at all. Nada contenta. Okay.
Ella piensa, el vestido me queda muy pequeño. Tengo que adelgazar.
Tengo que adelgazar. Tengo que. I have to.
I have to.
Wait.
To lose weight.
I have to get.
Smaller.
I have to slim down. Adelgazar. Adelgazar. I have to lose weight. I've got to get thinner. Adelgazar. Delgado or delgada means thin. Adelgazar takes that word delgado, thin, and it turns it into a verb. Adelgazar is to get
Slim
thin,
down.
to slim down, to lose weight.
Tengo que adelgazar. Entonces ella piensa en un plan. Ella
Piensa en un plan. She thinks about
Thinks about a plan.
she thinks up a plan.
hace un plan. Ella piensa, la semana que viene voy a hacer dieta.
Voy a hacer dieta.
I'm going to go do
I'm
diet.
gonna-
To
I'm
do
going to
diet.
make a diet. We would say I'm going to go on
Diet.
a diet. In Spanish, we cannot use the go word, ir, to say go on a diet because ir
Yeah.
indicates movement.
Yes, yes.
But hacer una dieta means to make a diet for yourself. That makes sense in the Spanish lexicon. Okay.
Sí, voy a hacer una dieta toda la semana. Así voy a estar más delgada y el vestido me quedará bien. Entonces, la semana siguiente,
La semana siguiente.
Following week.
Yeah, the following week. Siguiente means following.
Rosa empieza su dieta. ¿sí?
Empieza, she begins. Empieza.
Yes.
Empieza su dieta. She starts her diet. She
starts her
begins her
diet.
diet.
El lunes, el primer día de la semana,
El
el
lunes.
lunes, Rosa empieza su dieta. Todo el día, Rosa solamente come lechuga.
She
Only
solamente.
Only
Only eats lettuce.
Rosa come lechuga
lechuga.
todo el día. Come lechuga por la mañana para desayunar, come lechuga por la tarde para almorzar y come lechuga por la noche para cenar.
And you've got por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche, right? In the morning,
In the
the afternoon,
evening and night.
at night. Okay.
Por la mañana, por la tarde y por la noche, todo el día come lechuga. Después Rosa se va a la cama. Rosa se va a la cama por la noche, pero entonces Rosa nota que tiene mucha hambre.
Nota que tiene, nota means she notices.
Yeah.
Nota. She takes notice of, she notices. Nota que tiene mucha hambre.
She's very hungry.
She's really hungry.
Rosa tiene hambre. Así que Rosa se levanta de la cama y va a
Se levanta.
Gets up.
Exacto, muy bien, sí.
la cocina. Rosa va a la cocina
Va a la cocina.
a por un yogur. Rosa abre el frigorífico. Rosa abre el frigorífico y saca un yogur de fresa.
Saca, she takes out.
Mhm.
Saca un yogur. De fresa.
Rosa
Strawberry.
se come un yogur de fresa y se vuelve a la cama.
Se come, she eats up. Se come is a little more specific than come. Se come would kind of be like gobble up. She snarfs it down. Okay. Y se va a la cama. She goes back to bed. Se vuelve a la cama. She returns to bed.
Al día siguiente, el martes, Rosa come lechuga todo el día. Come lechuga por la mañana para desayunar, por la tarde para almorzar y por la noche para cenar. Todo el día, el martes, Rosa come lechuga. Después ella se va a la cama y en la cama Rosa no puede dormir. Rosa tiene
No puede. She can't.
Can't sleep.
No puede dormir. She can't sleep. Exacto.
mucha hambre.
Tiene mucha hambre.
Entonces Rosa se levanta,
Se levanta.
va a la cocina y busca comida. Entonces
Busca.
She looks for food.
Busca comida.
Rosa se come 3 galletas de chocolate. Rosa se come 3 galletas de chocolate y un yogur de fresa. Y después se vuelve a la cama a dormir. Al día siguiente, el miércoles, Rosa come lechuga todo el día. Come lechuga por la mañana para desayunar, por la tarde para almorzar y por la noche para cenar. Todo el día Rosa solo come lechuga. Y después ella va a la cama, va a dormir. ¿Y qué pasa? Pues que Rosa tiene mucha hambre. Entonces Rosa se levanta y va a la cocina. En la cocina, Rosa se prepara un bocadillo de jamón.
Bocadillo is a word they use in Spain for sandwich. Bocadillo is what they call it in Spain. Bocadillo.
Miércoles por la noche, Rosa se come un bocadillo de jamón, 3 galletas de chocolate y un yogur de fresa. Al día siguiente, el jueves, Rosa come lechuga todo el día. Por la mañana para desayunar, por la tarde para almorzar y por la noche para cenar. Y después ella se va a la cama, ella se va a dormir. Pero Rosa no puede dormir porque tiene mucha hambre. Entonces Rosa se levanta y va a la cocina. Y en la cocina ella coge un paquete de patatas. El jueves Rosa se come un paquete de patatas, un bocadillo de jamón, 3 galletas de chocolate y un yogur de fresa. Y después ella vuelve a la cama para dormir. El viernes Rosa come lechuga todo el día. Come lechuga por la mañana para desayunar, por la tarde para almorzar y por la noche para cenar. Después ella se va a la cama y en la cama Rosa no puede dormir porque tiene hambre, tiene mucha hambre. Entonces Rosa se levanta y va a la cocina. En la cocina Rosa coge un donut. Entonces Rosa se come un donut, se come un paquete de patatas fritas, se come un bocadillo de jamón, se come 3 galletas y se come un yogur de fresa. Después Rosa se va a la cama a dormir. El sábado Rosa come lechuga todo el día. Come lechuga por la mañana para desayunar, por la tarde para almorzar y por la noche para cenar. Todo el día solamente come lechuga y después ella se va a la cama, se va a dormir. Pero Rosa no puede dormir. Rosa tiene mucha hambre. Entonces se levanta de la cama, va a la cocina y busca comida. Entonces Rosa saca una tarrina de helado de vainilla. Entonces Rosa se come una tarrina de helado de vainilla, un donut.
And tarina is really a carton. Tarina. First she showed a cone, but that's really a carton. Una tarina. Okay, bien.
Un paquete de patatas, un bocadillo de jamón, 3 galletas y un yogur de fresa. Después Rosa se va a la cama. El domingo, el último día de la semana, Rosa piensa, voy a probarme mi vestido. Voy a ver
I'm going to try on.
qué tal me queda el vestido.
I'm going to see what it looks like. ¿Qué tal? What's it like?
Rosa se prueba el vestido y se mira en el espejo. Pero el vestido todavía le queda muy pequeño. El vestido le queda pequeño. Rosa está muy enfadada. Muy enfadada.
Enfadada es enojada. Enfadada is what a word they use in Spain to say angry. Yeah,
Angry.
more than annoyed. Enfadado means the same thing as enojado,
El
angry.
vestido le queda pequeño. La dieta no ha servido para nada.
No ha servido para nada. It hasn't worked at all. It has served for nothing. No ha servido para nada. It has not worked at all.
Rosa está muy enfadada. Ella va a la cocina y abre el frigorífico. Ella coge la lechuga
She
y
grabs
la
the lettuce.
tira a la basura. Ella tira la lechuga.
La tira. She
Throw it. She throw it in
throws
the
it.
garbage.
Sí, eso
Lechuga
es.
a la basura. El cubo de basura está lleno de lechuga.
It's full of
Está
lettuce.
lleno de lechuga. Rosa coge la basura en una bolsa, ella coge la basura y la lleva al contenedor de basura. Rosa tira toda la lechuga a la basura.
Tira, throws it.
Después ella va a una tienda de ropa. Rosa va a una tienda de ropa y se compra un vestido nuevo. Rosa se compra un vestido nuevo que le queda bien. El vestido nuevo le queda bien.
Le queda bien. It fits her well.
Y ahora Rosa está muy contenta. Rosa está muy contenta de tener su vestido nuevo.
Ok. Y bien. Y es, bueno, el fin de la historia. Ok. Pueden ver. When notice a little tweak she had there. Se come means she eats it up, she gobbles it up. So the way people express, instead of just eats, come, as gobble up or eat up or, shove it in quickly, is se come instead of just come. It's a little twist that you can add to your repertoire sometime. Okay, ¿está bien?
Sí.
Sí.
¿Mejor?
Sí.
Vale.
Buena dieta.
Buena dieta. No tiene realmente un plan. She doesn't really have a plan like she thinks she's got a plan. No tiene el plan que había planeado. She doesn't have the plan that she really had planned. We're gonna morph from this next week into the idea of wow, when do we know or why? Because this is going to be kind of a simple step over. When do adjectives come in front of the nouns they talk about or follow the nouns they talk about? And why? Because you noticed with the words this, these, that, and those, the word didn't follow the noun, right? Most adjectives follow the nouns they talk about, but some adjectives don't. So your little mini lesson throughout the week is going to be a video on why that happens and how to tell, because actually there are going to be some pretty simple steps in most cases to tell when an adjective comes before the noun and when it follows the noun. Okay, because that's a little bit of a tricky thing for Spanish speakers. Y eso es todo. I think that's it, because you're not going to be doing any homework on Thursday. You're going to be busy eating turkey. Sí, ese pavo. Sí, Hillary.
Yeah, I just want to ask, because Monday we have to sign up again. Is this the class that's to sign up for again, or it's only this class?
Oh,
or?
sí. Bien. Okay. Vale. Gracias, Hillary. Yes, sign up for January classes. Opens up on the 29th, next week, Monday. See, next week, Monday is the first day for registration for January classes. Same class.
Same one. Okay.
Same one for you guys, for sure. Yeah. Monday class, I don't know what number they put on it because I did not, they don't mail me a booklet. But the Monday class, step 2, same one, todo lo mismo, everything the same. Bien?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Vale, magnífico. Entonces, nos vemos, sí, y feliz Día de Acción de Gracias. Happy Thanksgiving Day. Bien?
Sí, gracias.
Bien,
Gracias.
magnífico.
Gracias.
Okay.
Gracias.
De
Thanksgiving
nada, de
too.
nada. Nos vemos.